So we finally got the Ashes of Creation Alpha 2 tank revealed. While the initial showcase was poorly executed, the second one was much better. And to me, with either presentation, I left thinking that the tank is in a good place. Granted, we are not seeing much yet, but what we did see I do like so far. So like I did for the Cleric and Ranger reveals, this is my comprehensive breakdown of the tank skills that were showcased. To start out, we need to talk about the tank resource, Courage. This is a buff that stacks every time the tank takes damage, lasts for 10 seconds, and can stack as high as 10. This buff can empower some abilities. The one that we saw that it empowers is called Grit, which is a self buff that reduces damage taken, which we will talk about later. Here you can see the buff stacking. When the tank activates the group shield ability called Aegis, he takes damage much more quickly and therefore gets Courage stacks faster. Grit can be channeled while other abilities are used, so using Grit during Aegis if you have Courage stacks seems to be a good choice. Next, we saw another class synergy, or combo. This time we saw a Snare soft CC converted to a Trip hard CC. This combo was shown with the Inciting Strike's ability applying Snare and the Trembling Bellow ability applying the Trip since the Snare was already on the target. The first ability showcased was Shield Assault. It does not say it on the tooltip, but this ability generates threat according to the developers, making it one of the 2 threat increasing abilities we saw. The threat gain was said to be better for single targets but does less AoE threat. This ability is a short-range charge ability that applies the Shaken condition, or it can combo into a stun if Shaken is ready on the target. The second ability is called Inciting Strikes. This ability does 2 slashes in a forward cone and also generates threat. It was said that this is the better way to gain AoE threat of the 2 threat skills, but gained less single target threat. It does not say it on the tooltip, but it also applies the Snared condition, which can be comboed with the next ability. The third ability was called Trembling Bellow. This skill is a shout ability that does damage in a forward cone and applies stagger to targets. If a target is affected by the Snared condition, it will convert the Snare into a Trip as a combo. The fourth ability is called Grit. This is an off-global cooldown ability that can be cast while other abilities are being used. It is a self buff that reduces incoming damage by 15%, but also reduces the tank's outgoing damage dealt. Each incoming hit consumes 1 stack of Grit, and each stack of Grit further reduces damage by 15%. So with Courage stacks, your incoming damage is reduced 30% until you run out of Courage stacks, and then it reverts back to 15%. You cannot generate Courage when Grit is active. The fifth ability is called Aegis. This is a group positional shield ability. This shield will transfer 50% of all damage received by targets behind the tank to the tank instead. I also noticed that with the increased amount of damage coming in, Courage stacked much faster for the tank, but the big increase to his damage incoming was at times hard to deal with. So I do think using this when Courage stacks are already built up so you can have a buffed Grit effect also active would probably make sense. I really like this skill and I am really happy they added it. This is so far the best skill we have seen in the Alpha 2 showcases, in my opinion. The sixth ability is called Grapple. This is a pull with an 18-meter range. It also applied a tapering snare debuff for 3 seconds. As I said in the beginning, I am personally very happy with the tank as we currently see it. It is hard to judge too much either way as we still are seeing such a minimal toolkit. But what we did see I think is on the right track. If you still need to sign up for an Ashes of Creation account, I do have a referral link in the description. And if you liked this video, consider subscribing. With that, I will see you in the next video.